Hey, this is Charles with Rocky Mountain ATV MC. Today I'm going to show you how to inspect and replace the drive belt on your Kawasaki KRX 1000. These Kawasaki KRXs are awesome machines, and knowing how to change out the drive belt is one of the essential tasks that you will need to know how to do. And this is going to help prevent you from being stranded while you're out on the trail if you do happen to have a breakdown. But of course, you want to carry a spare belt with you along with the proper tools. And to help prevent any breakdowns, Kawasaki recommends inspecting this belt every 100 hours or 1,200 miles, whichever comes first. So let's go ahead and show you how to get this done. To do this job, we have some common hand tools, including a 10 and 12 millimeter socket. We're using safety glasses, rags. We do have a special bolt. This is a 10 by 60 millimeter long bolt with a 1.25 thread pitch. This bolt and the belt, as well as a spare belt mount, these are all available on our website. We have a lot of different options for these belt mounts, and this is just a convenient way to carry that spare belt with you. To start out, we need to gain access to our belt. So to do that, the service manual recommends removing your rear wheel and shock, but we're actually not going to do those two steps. We're just going to remove the cover. That's how you're going to do it out on the trail anyway. Now when you remove the cover, since we didn't pull the shock off, you're just going to have to work it around this front side. The next thing we'll do is remove this cover that's over our primary drive clutch, and using a 12 millimeter deep socket, we're going to remove two nuts. And then on this last one, we'll be using a 10 millimeter socket on each side of that to remove two bolts. The next thing we're going to do is blow out these threads. There's a lot of dust in there. Now to spread these sheaves apart, we're only going to use one of these bolts. The manual recommends using 3, but it's not a lot of pressure, so this is going to do the job just fine. With the sheave spread, you want to walk the belt off and then remove it from that drive pulley. And when you pull this belt off, you want to pay attention to the direction it's going. So we have these arrows on top. If you're going to reuse this belt, you want to make sure these arrows go back in that same rotation. To start the inspection on the belt, you first want to do a visual inspection. So you're checking for any visible damage. So down in between the cogs, you want to check for any cracking. You want to make sure these cogs aren't torn. And then also on the outer surface, you want to make sure this surface isn't glazed or has a shiny surface to it. And if you look at it from the top, sometimes you'll get narrow and wide spots or hourglassing going on. If you have any of those problems, you want to make sure you replace this belt. The other thing you can do, if everything looks pretty good but you're not sure, you can take your digital calipers and measure the width. So the service limit on this is 36.8 millimeters, and we're just below 37. So this belt is actually good. We can still use it. If you're really close to that service limit, you do want to get this replaced. Now before you go back together, you want to make sure that your drive and driven clutch are in good condition. If you need to know how to inspect those, we do have a separate how-to video just for that. It'll guide you through the process. But for us, we're going to reinstall our old belt. Our machine actually only has 120 miles on it. We know this belt is good, and we're just going to clean it up a little bit before we install it. So now that the belt is cleaned up, I'm going to reinstall it. We'll start with the drive clutch. And one thing I do want to point out is you do want to practice this at your house before you're out on the trail. That way you're familiar with the process. Once it's on the drive clutch, we'll walk it around onto the driven. Next, we'll remove the bolt that holds those sheaves apart. And then you want to rotate the driven clutch several times until the belt comes all the way to the top of it. If you don't, it's kind of like starting in a high gear and you could damage your new belt. Next, we're going to install this cover over the primary drive clutch. Now, you want to check that seal, make sure the grease stayed in there. You might not need to add any, but if it's completely dry, you want to add just a little bit. Just make sure you don't add too much, that way you don't get grease all over your clutch. And once you have those fasteners tightened down, we'll install the belt cover. And that's it for the belt replacement on your KRX 1000. If you need that belt or any other parts for your KRX, be sure to check out our website. And for more maintenance videos, subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching.